नमस्कार। इस विशेष प्रस्तुति में आप सभी का स्वागत है। मैं हूं आपके साथ दीप्ति दुबे। इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं बांसुरी वादक शशांक सुब्रमण्यम। शशांक किसी पहचान के मोहताज नहीं है। कई राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पुरस्कार प्राप्त और कई प्रतिष्ठित मंचों पर अपनी प्रस्तुति दे चुके शशांक से आइए हम बातचीत करते हैं। शशांक, आपका संसद टीवी में स्वागत है।
नमस्कार, थैंक यू फॉर हैविंग मी ऑन द शो।
शशांक, सबसे पहले बात की जाए तो जब हम आपकी जीवन यात्रा को देखते हैं, आपकी संगीत यात्रा को देखते हैं, तो पता चलता है कि आप किसी संगीत घराने से नहीं आते हैं। आपके पिताजी को रुचि थी, आपकी माताजी को रुचि थी संगीत में। yes. क्या वही वजह बनी जो आप इस क्षेत्र में आए?
That's true. My father was the only musician in the family. Although he was teaching biochemistry in the university in Bangalore, so he was very passionate about Carnatic music and wanted me to become a musician, and that's how he started teaching me music as a Matru Bhasha. So he would, at my 9 months of age, he would sing something, say the name of the ragas. So that's how he taught me music like a language. At my 2.5 years of age, I was able to recognize all the major ragas in Carnatic music. And then when I was 4 years old, the government of Karnataka gave me a scholarship which was meant for the 14-year-olds.
वाह!
So that's how it began. Yeah.
और 6 साल की उम्र से ही जो है वो आप स्टेज परफॉर्मेंसेस कर रहे हैं।
Yes.
वो कैसे शुरू हुआ आपका स्टेज पे आ जाना इतनी कम उम्र में?
Between my 6 years and 11 years of age, I was performing here and there and training in music very hard. I almost did not have any schooling, so every day I used to practice 10 to 12 hours minimum. So I started performing at 6, but I continuously kept training. At my 11, I began the bigger circuit in Carnatic music. So I was invited by the Music Academy, Chennai, which is a very big institution, to play the senior most slot. So that's how my big time career in music started. In fact, I performed in Mahavir Hall in Delhi when I was 11. So
शशांक, आपने बांसुरी को ही क्यों चुना? कर्नाटक संगीत आपने सीखा, आप कुछ और वाद्य यंत्र भी चुन सकते थे या फिर आप गायन के क्षेत्र में भी जा सकते थे, लेकिन आपने क्यों बांसुरी को चुना?
इसके पहले I was learning violin.
Okay.
Because my father was not very happy with my learning flute. He was a flute player himself, and he felt violin may be better instrument for, but somehow since I had seen my father play flute at home all the time,
बिल्कुल,
I was very exposed to this instrument. And when I was 3 years old, my father or many flute players used to notice that I used to take any stick or some cylindrical object and mimic playing flute with correct fingering. So ek din I didn't like the violin. I just took the flute of my father, but before all this I used to learn vocal very seriously. So I knew many compositions and ragas by singing. So I was easily able to play it on the instrument.
अगर आप कुछ हमारे दर्शकों को सुनाएं कोई एक छोटी सी धुन।
This is the bansuri.
जी। बहुत सुंदर। शशांक, आप बता रहे हैं कि बचपन से ही शुरुआत हो गई संगीत शिक्षा की, आपने बचपन से ही प्रस्तुतियां देना भी शुरू कर दिया। लेकिन जब हम एक जवान होते हैं, हम सोचने लगते हैं कि क्या इसे करियर के तौर पे चुना जाए या फिर किसी और जॉब में स्विच हो जाए, इसको शौकिया तौर पे रखा जाए। तो क्या इस तरह की कोई दुविधा, इस तरह के कोई विचार आपके मन में भी आए थे?
Well, I was very young, so my father decided for me that music was going to be my life. And since I achieved success at a very early stage in my life, and I got all the right opportunities to play everywhere in the world and establish myself as a musician, there was not really a second thought in my mind to do any other career. So music, I was into music much before I knew, and by my teens I was already in the international circuit, traveling, performing. And music is a great profession. You can, it's something I liked. But today, many times I think, for many who will take music, it's a difficult question. For me, it was okay because I made it successfully. But it is very hard. So if I was not a musician, I like aviation a lot. So I would have maybe become a pilot. Who knows?
शशांक, बहुत ही शुरुआत से आपने बहुत सारे मंचों पर प्रस्तुतियां दी, उसमें कई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंच भी शामिल हैं। तो अगर उसके बारे में आप हमें कुछ बताएं कि किस तरीके से ये शुरुआत हुई और आपने किन किन के साथ जुगलबंदी की। हम जानते हैं कि पंडित जसराज ने भी आपको कई बार बुलाया है और अपने कार्यक्रम में प्रस्तुतियां आपसे कहा है कि आप दीजिए। तो मंच पर जो प्रस्तुतियां होती हैं उनके अनुभव हमारे साथ साझा कीजिए।
I started performing internationally in 1990. My father took me on a tour to Australia, Singapore and Malaysia. That's where my international career began. And then since then I've played in more than 50 countries, a lot in America, Canada, Europe, and it has been a tremendously great experience. So coming to the Jugalbandis, Pandit Jasraj ji is my Hindustani music guru. I was his student for about 15 years. So even before my becoming a student with him, I had been invited by him to present a concert in his father's festival, a festival that he conducts in the memory of his father in Hyderabad. So then I requested him to, that I want a knowledge of Hindustani music also. So, and he was very nice. He taught me so beautifully. And he said, you are already a musician in Carnatic music. If you know, Carnatic music and Hindustani music are like one language, but with spoken with different dialect. So he said, just come and play with me, you will learn a lot more of Hindustani music.
जब हम बात करते हैं शशांक, जैसे कि आप बोल रहे हैं कि हिंदुस्तानी क्लासिकल संगीत, कर्नाटक संगीत, तो दोनों ही भारत के हैं, दोनों ही क्लासिकल हैं, लेकिन फिर भी दोनों अलग अलग हैं और आपने दोनों के साथ ही प्रस्तुतियां दी हैं। तो जो ये दो अलग प्रकार के संगीत विधाएं हैं, इनके बारे में आपके क्या विचार हैं?
It is like Indians living in Delhi and Indians living in Trivandrum. We are the same country, but India is blessed to have two systems of classical music, which is very unique to India, because very rarely you will find somebody who can say, oh, this is the classical music of this country or that country. So Indian classical music has two styles, Carnatic and Hindustani music. Carnatic is supposed to be the oldest form without any influence of the Persian tradition, music tradition. It is, you can also say it is very similar to each other, but so uniquely different also. So it's I have always worked very hard in my life to take Carnatic music out to the north, and this was one of the very reasons why I learned Hindustani music, so that I could present Carnatic music in a more understandable manner to the North Indian audience, and I should say I am quite successful at that.
संगीत प्रस्तुतियां देने में या कुछ नया सीखने में आप बहुत अच्छे हैं, ये तो हम जानते ही हैं, लेकिन हमारे सामने बहुत सारी बांसुरी भी रखी हुई हैं और हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि जब हम आपके बारे में पढ़ रहे थे तो हमें पता चला कि आपने बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट किए हैं इस वाद्य यंत्र के साथ.
ये बांसुरी itself is a product of experiment. कर्नाटिक म्यूजिक में a normal flute A size में है, ठीक है, ये मिड ऑक्टेव फ्लूट जैसे. ये कर्नाटिक नॉर्मल फ्लूट है, but I always wanted to present Carnatic music in longer flutes as a main instrument. So one of my friends and a flute maker from Delhi, in fact, made this flute for me, where the finger span is very easy, so it is technical to demonstrate. But you see, one of the experiments is now. So if I want to take it upwards, I change my fingering. So in this, if I closed 2 holes, you get the sa. In this, the 6 holes. Then you have the shorter flutes. And you have a shorter flute too, which takes you further up. And then there are these longer bass flutes. Taking you to the deeper flute.
बिल्कुल. शंख बांसुरी भी है ये.
Yeah, ये शंख बांसुरी है.
जी.
See the sound, that sounds like a conch, the shank.
बिल्कुल.
So in flute there are many interesting things possible.
जी. लेकिन शशांक, सिर्फ वाद्य यंत्रों पर ही आपने एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं किया है, आपने जो है वो सांस लेने की तकनीक और इन सब पर भी बहुत ध्यान दिया है. ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक से, जो बांसुरी वादन में जो सबसे ज़्यादा अहम होता है वो हमारी ब्रीदिंग टेक्निक ही है. उसमें भी आपने कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए हैं.
So like a breathing and fingering both go hand in hand. So like deep curves, like these kind of slides, it takes a lot of breath control. So these kind of things take very different breath techniques, like, and also finger techniques. So we also have techniques like so one of my techniques is playing like a tabla on the flute.
अच्छा.
It displaces the flute here if I do that here, you see. Like that. So then in music there are many things you react to. So these techniques all come into place to reproduce some idea that you want to present basically.
जी. संगीत की शिक्षा प्राप्त करना, संगीत में करियर बनाना एक अपने आप में एक अलग चीज़ होती है, लेकिन उसमें एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करना ये हर आर्टिस्ट नहीं करता है. हर आर्टिस्ट जो है वो एक्सपेरिमेंट नहीं करता है, वो सीखता है फिर उसे परफॉर्म करेगा, जुगलबंदी करेगा. तो वो क्या चीज़ थी जो आपको लगा कि मुझे इसमें एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करने हैं, मुझे कुछ नया बनाना भी है?
See, always musician's identity comes from what he does for himself.
Okay.
The tradition is you take something from the past and take something to the future.
जी.
If most good performers in India do follow this, they're all contributors. The very good performers that you see in any tradition of art
जी.
are very innovators also. Otherwise they cannot survive. Because if you sound like your guru, the credit goes to my guru.
बिल्कुल.
Which is okay, because the guru has given everything to you. But at the same time I have to sound somebody like myself.
जी.
So this innovation, experimentation, all this has to be done in order to produce something different for the future.
बिल्कुल.
So I have always loved to innovate, loved to, and luckily I got many opportunities and exposure in the world where I saw so many great musicians do so many things. So it was a very inspiring thing to innovate.
आप कई पुरस्कारों से सम्मानित हो चुके हैं. तमिलनाडु सरकार ने भी आपको सबसे प्रतिष्ठित पुरस्कार दिया है. संगीत नाटक अकादमी पुरस्कार आपको मिल चुका है. ग्रैमी के लिए आप नॉमिनेट हो चुके हैं. तो जब एक कलाकार को उसकी कला के लिए सम्मानित किया जाता है तो उसे बहुत प्रसन्नता मिलती है. तो जब ऐसे मौके आते हैं उस समय आपको कैसा फील होता है, क्या महसूस होता है?
It is a great thing to have recognition from the governments especially
जी.
and the people.
बिल्कुल.
People is most important, and since government represents the people, it's always very prestigious to receive. My latest award that I have received is from the government of France, and they gave me this title of Chevalier.
Okay.
It is a knighthood of French government. So when even international governments recognize your art, that means it is a very important thing in your career. As a career, you although many musicians say it's not required,
जी.
career award is like recognition.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Because we live, our careers are shaped by recognition
जी.
given by people and the system.
शशांक, अपनी कोई पसंदीदा, आपकी कोई पसंदीदा धुन हो जो आप दर्शकों को सुनाना चाहेंगे?
I'll play a folk melody from South India.
बहुत सुंदर। शशांक, आपके निजी जीवन के बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो आपकी पत्नी भी कहीं ना कहीं कला से ही जुड़ी हुई हैं, वो भरतनाट्यम डांसर हैं, तो क्या उससे जीवन आसान हो जाता है जब आपका लाइफ पार्टनर उसी क्षेत्र से हो जिस क्षेत्र से आप हैं?
Dance and music, a very good complement in life. Bharatanatyam is a very great art form. So my wife is a good dancer, and but she has also taken a back seat, and she has been very helpful in my career, and she takes care more of my support system. She's, and including my father, mother, and my sister is a good flute player herself. So every artist needs a very good support system.
शशांक, आपके फ्यूचर प्लान्स क्या है? अभी तक हमने बात किया कि आपने क्या क्या अचीव किया है, अब हम ये जानना चाहते हैं कि भविष्य की क्या योजनाएं हैं। आप अभी यंग हैं और आप बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कर रहे हैं, तो what are your future plans?
Well, my musical career is nearly 40 years old, so it is a challenging time every day to keep one thing, the form of the artist. Okay, that is me. To keep my personal form is very difficult, because as you travel, it's a very challenging field. Every day people look for innovation, every day people look for something new. So, but I've always lived my life, on a long term. So, every 10 years I take a look of what I need to do, and I also take it as it comes. I'm always, my eyes and ears are open. So, I find a good artist somewhere in the world, I collaborate, that gives me some other idea to build upon something else. So it's a very interesting journey that way. I'm very grateful that so far I have been successful, and next 20 years I don't know, whatever God has in store for me, I keep working, and I'll take it as it comes.
हमसे बातचीत करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, and by the way, one last answer to that question.
बिल्कुल।
My goal always is to take Carnatic music to everywhere in the world, especially make it more popular in North India. So to that also I should tell you that I have played more than nearly 1,000 school concerts for Spikmeke, for instance. All corners of the country they have taken my concerts. So that is one of my major activities, to popularize South Indian classical music amongst children.
Okay.
So I take that to Europe also. I play in for schools in Europe, all over Europe. So like that, my goal is always to take Carnatic music to नॉर्थ इंडिया।
जी बिल्कुल, और हमारी शुभकामनाएं आपके साथ हैं कि आप इस काम में और सक्सेसफुल होंगे। आप अभी सफल हैं और सफल होंगे इस काम में।
थैंक यू सो मच, एंड थैंक्स टू संसद टीवी फॉर हैविंग मी हियर।
धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। थैंक यू। इस विशेष प्रस्तुति में बस इतना ही। देखते रहिए संसद टीवी।